Howdy boys and girls, this is Jeremy from the CustomGeek.com here, and here we have a ray gun. And right, you just heard it. Its superpowers is to annoy you to death. That's what it does. I love my mother-in-law, but I think she bought this for our kids. And so I have 3 boys, very rambunctious, very into guns, and so what we're going to do is we're going to modify this, and we're going to make it a little less noisy and a little bit more blinky. You can see there's 2 LEDs. There's one up here and there's one in the middle here. So without further ado, let's take this thing apart and see what makes it tick, and then make it tick another way. Alright, so I've removed all the screws out of the gun. So if we take this guy apart here, just arbitrarily plastic pieces here, you can see that we have a speaker inside here, an actual speaker. We have a battery cover, some nice generic batteries, we'll leave those right in there. And then we have these end caps here. We'll take these guys off. So we take the gun apart, and if any of you have taken any of these things apart, there's always the plastic inserts here, and it's pretty basic here. We have the batteries, we have the speaker, we have a few LEDs, and we have the magic board. And if we take the magic board off, if we take the magic board off, what we will see, I'm guessing, I haven't done this yet, is we'll see the famous blob of epoxy, the mystery chip. And so what we're probably going to end up doing is replacing this with maybe an AT-Tiny 85, so we can make things blink. Yes, there it is, the magic epoxy chip. And so instead of trying to reverse engineer this guy here, what we're going to do is just replace this. We'll use the trigger input, we'll use the power. We'll probably put some brighter LEDs in there to do some more stuff. So let's make it blinky. Hey guys, just wanted to mention I'm using an AT-Tiny on this project here, an alternative to the Atmega 328s that I always use. And I'm using an Arduino Uno as an in-circuit serial programmer. So what I have here is I have this set up, and I have my little sketch here, and it works just fine, and has all this nonsense on it. Now if I want to program this, when I hit program, you'll see that the sketch resets and I get an error on my Arduino IDE, and the reason is because these LEDs are pulling too much and it interferes with the programming. So if you take the ground of those and just disconnect it, now when you program them, you can see that it'll program very happily, and with the ground disconnected. So program it, and then when it gets done, you can go ahead and connect the ground back up, and then that way when you hit your trigger here, it'll do all the things. I disconnected the speaker because I was annoying myself. Hey boys and girls, just want to go over what we took out of the gun, which are these 2 little LEDs, which the diffuse little red guys here that were here and here. So we'll get to the gun in a little bit, but I wanted to show you this chip here. I don't know if this camera will focus this close here. This is maybe. This is the mystery chip here, but you could see voltage in, VDD, LED plus. There's a resistor for the LED, trigger minus and trigger plus, and I believe that is ground, and then there's the speaker wires over here. And I see here this is an OSC. I imagine it's for an oscillator, and a couple capacitors. So maybe this has dual function. Maybe I'll play with this a little later and see if I can get something different out of it. So, anywho, so here's what we got for our weapon of mass destruction here. We have I left the speaker. We still have the same speaker on top of the battery compartment. I pulled the part of the trigger high with a 10K resistor. I replaced our mystery board with an AT-Tiny 85, and then basically just wired LEDs. There's 2 orange LEDs here, and then there's 2 blue LEDs around the orange LEDs, and then there's a red LED in the tip here. So now, if we pull the trigger here, what we get is noise, but quieter noise, and as soon as you let go of the trigger, the noise stops. And then, of course, we have the red ray of death on the end of the nose, and then we have the nuclear-powered cell, which powers the whole thing, obviously glowing blue and orange, so it's nuclear-powered. Everyone knows that. So that's pretty much it. This will make my kid's toy quieter, and it'll make my brain work happier. Here's the finished product here, all buttoned up and back together, so you can see the little LED in the front there. And it looks all pretty when you squeeze the trigger. You get the red ray of death, and you get the nuclear power chambers that echo something. So anyway, a lot quieter, a lot more tolerable. Plus it blinks and pulses light, so it's more entertaining. So it's like we traded some noise for some LEDs. My kids love LEDs, so works out great.